Hey, welcome in everybody, and thanks for watching. We are here to talk to you about fast-tracking Active Directory provisioning in Identity Security Cloud. If you've worked with ISC, you know that IQService can be kind of clunky to set up sometimes. My team and I live and breathe this thing every single day. So we've learned what the pain points are, and we've also learned how we can make it better. So I'm here to share with you today what we've learned. We're here to talk about the current state of IQService for ISC and how we can make it better. Next, we're going to give a special shout out to certificate management, and finally we'll do a quick code review, and then we'll run a demo install for IQService. So what is IQService? Just a quick level set in case this is new to you by chance. IQService is the provisioning half of the equation for our AD connector for ISC. The virtual appliance can read from AD on its own, but any provisioning actions get forwarded to IQService, which sits on a Windows server in your environment. So when you onboard a new hire, or let's say Bob in R&D happens to win the lottery and decides to retire tomorrow, IQService is what handles creating and disabling your AD accounts. Right now, deploying IQService can be kind of clunky. You have to download the package from the tenant. You have to copy it to your server. You have to unpackage it. Hope you remember to unblock the DLLs because Microsoft likes to try to save us from ourselves. You have to run the install commands. It needs to be run as an administrator. Hopefully you remembered that too. And then you have to go back to your ISC tenant. You have to manually update the connection parameters in there. You have to test the connection, make sure you get a green light. It's kind of clunky, but what if I told you there's a better way? First, let's talk about the pain points a little bit before we get into how we solved them. Certificate management for AD and IQService can be a little bit clunky. Do we have certificate authorities, yes or no? Does the server have a certificate issued to it? And is it even compatible with what IQService is expecting? Sometimes even just getting the installer to the server can be kind of complicated depending on your internal infrastructure. One time I had a customer that had to set up an Azure storage blob just so we could transfer files back and forth, and we had to use curl to pull them down onto the Windows box just to be able to get it going. It's, kind of a hassle, let's be honest. And then what about Windows Firewall? The default install commands don't account for checking Windows Firewall. Can IQService talk locally just on that server? We're not even talking about an internal network firewall at that point. And then we also need to consider, does group policy control the Windows firewall or not? And then right now, frankly, it's a manual effort. You have to log in, you have to do all of this stuff by hand. It's a lot of interactive work. What if we could automate that? So here's the cool part. Microsoft has PowerShell modules that can help us solve most of these problems. We can query AD for certificate authorities. We can pull their public keys. Turns out through some research for this project that the virtual appliance hosts the binaries for IQService. Let's just go there and go get it instead of having to go out to the web and transfer it by hand. Windows Firewall, it's a Microsoft component. There are PowerShell commands for Windows Firewall, and we can even query group policy. And then finally, because it's a PowerShell script, guess what? We can store it, we can reuse it. Theoretically, you could even integrate it into your server deployment pipeline and automate this thing in a DR scenario. So if your Windows OS goes down, you just spin up a new one and it really doesn't matter. So we all know certificate management when dealing with ISC is kind of the bane of our existence. I figured there had to be a better way, so I started digging into this and looking into how AD certificate authorities show up in the domain. We can query for CAs and we can get their public keys. So here's our first decision point is, do we have CAs, yes or no? If we do, then cool, let's go ahead and query AD. Let's get those public keys. We're going to store them in a folder, and then we can copy it up to the VA cluster. If we don't have any certificate authorities, then we can offer to create a self-signed certificate knowing what IQService is expecting as far as key length, certificate name, all of that. We know what it's expecting. So let's just offer to make a self-signed certificate. We'll make it valid for a couple of years. We can store it and, make life easy on you. And then we'll even take that same thing. We'll store it in a folder and we'll upload it to the VA for you. It's pretty slick. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys that here in a second. So getting to the actual dirty work, let's go ahead and take a look at a few code blocks here, and then we'll run through a demo. So here we see the dirty work we're doing to install IQService. If you've done this before, you've probably seen this. We're calling IQService.exe. We're setting your install flags, defining the user, all of those things. You've seen this before. So the cool thing here is we also have flags that we're looking at for, do you want to run auto update? Yes or no? Do you want to put this behind a load balancer? Yes or no? So we take all of that into account. We run the proper IQService install flags, set all the parameters, set your user account, And then we take all of those variables, we package them up into a PS custom object, and then we patch your source with all of those details. So we know what your host name is for your Windows box. We know what your port number is, your username, all of that. And we make the API call using the PowerShell SDK, and we update the source for you. It's pretty slick. So here's how we're doing certificate management. We call AD to get a list of all of the CAs in your environment. And then once we get that list of CAs, we'll take it and we'll export those public keys in PEM format. Windows calls it base64. It's the same difference. And we'll take those and dump them out into a folder in the IQService install path. And now that we have a nice little repository of all of the CAs in their environment, what their public keys are, we're going to package it up. We'll ship it up to all of the appliances in the cluster, and we'll show you how that works here in just a second. So who's ready for a demo? Let's do this thing. So over here, we have my Windows machine. We'll go ahead and bring this down here. This is pretty slick. So we've got a couple of decision points built in here where we are going to prompt for, do you want to do auto update? Do you want to do load balancers? There's a couple decision points. In my demo environment, I have all of those predefined already. You can see that right here where I'm defining load balancer and update. I don't want a load balancer. I do want to do updates. So we're predefining all of that. Don't take my credentials. Those are going to expire tomorrow. So good luck. All right. So what we do is we're then going to check and see if we have internet access. If we do, then we're going to go out and get all of our AD connectors calling the PowerShell SDK. And from there, because we now know what the DN of the domain is, we can query AD and find the source in ISC that matches the DN of our AD domain. So we can take that information now that we know what source we're working with, and we can pivot that into what cluster is connected to that AD source. And now that we have that AD source and we know what cluster it is, let's take that cluster ID, and now we can pivot that into what are the appliances that are paired to that cluster. So now let's say we have 2 VAs in that cluster, and now I know what the client ID is for those VAs, and more importantly, I know what the local IP address is for those VAs. So what we can do is we can then create a list of all of the VAs that are in that cluster, and we can now talk to them over SCP and SSH to do what we need to do. So you can see here we're building out a folder structure. This is how we're going to do IQService. This may already look pretty familiar if you've worked with my team in the past. We tend to use SailPoint/IQService generally in the C drive for your IQService install. We're going to go ahead and standardize on that. Although that being said, it's a variable. You can pick where you want it to go. But from there, we're going to standardize on the subfolders that are inside of that main install directory. So we're going to have an IQService folder. We'll have a place for you to put before and after scripts, and we'll have a place to put all of your certificates. So we have a nice standard library of all of the files that are going to be associated with IQService. Makes it a lot easier to deal with. And then from there, this is the really cool one. So we're going to call SCP, and we're going to take one of those VAs that are in our cluster, and we're just going to call SCP and just grab the IQService zip, which exists in the bundles directory on the VA. This was really slick. I'm glad that I was able to work with our VA team and figure this out. So now instead of needing to have internet access, you can just get it right from the VA and makes your life a lot easier, because now, again, you don't have to go out to the web, pull it to your workstation, and then find a way to copy it over to your Windows box. And so then from there, we'll go ahead and take that zip file. We're going to extract it out. And then the important part here is we're going to unblock all of our DLLs, because right now it doesn't make a difference. It'll install just fine if you don't unblock them. But when you go to actually run your connector rules, and this could be 3-6 months down the road, potentially, if you don't remember to do this now, then you're going to probably forget when you're doing your connector rule in 6 months, and that rule is going to bomb out, and you're not going to know why, because we didn't unblock those DLLs. So let's just do that ahead of time proactively, so that way we know that you're good to go. And then, like we saw on the slide deck already, so we'll run our install command based on, do we want auto update? Do we want a load balancer? Yes or no? And then finally, we'll bounce the service. So it's going to update all the settings that we just set. We'll then take all that information that we built out, and we're going to update the source. We're going to update the host name. We'll grab the port number, username and password. Do we want to use TLS? Yes, that's the whole point of having the certificate. So we're going to tell the source, yes, we want to use TLS. So from there, we'll go ahead and take that patch payload that we just built, and then we're going to upload that with the update 2025 source. We'll go ahead and just take that and push it back up into the tenant. So that way you don't need to do any of this by hand afterwards. It's pretty slick. And then from here, we'll go ahead and query our Windows firewall. And we're going to, most importantly, we're going to check is, can we actually edit the local policy or not? Yes or no? Because if we can't, we know that group policy is managing those local firewall rules. So we'll just throw up a quick message. Hey, group policy doesn't allow us to actually change this. Get with your Windows Server team, get a GPO rolled out, and then you'll be good to go there. If we can touch Windows Firewall, then we'll prompt you. Do you want to create these rules? Yes or no? I don't want to assume that you're allowed to do that because maybe there's just a corporate policy, right? So let's just prompt you. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? And then if you say, yeah, go ahead and create the rules for me, then we can make that call and we can create that new firewall rule and get that built out for you. Okay, now here's where all the magic happens. So this is all of our certificate management. So we're going to query the AD root DSC, give us the configuration naming context, and then we're going to search AD for all of our public key service servers. So now we have all of our CAs, right? So the cool part is now that we have a list of all of our CAs, we can query for their certificates, and then we're just going to export it right here. So we're going to go ahead and build out that file name. We'll build out our begin and end header certificates to make it PEM compatible. And then we're just going to dump it out to that certificates path that we already defined earlier. Okay, so from here, we have a couple functions I built out that can either test the compatibility for your certificates, or if we don't have one or we need to make one, we have a function that can build a new certificate for you. So we're going to check, do we have client and server authentication? We need that to secure the update channel in addition to securing the actual provisioning channel as well. So we need both of those inside that certificate. So we're going to check if that exists. We're going to check to make sure we have the right key usages. Does the subject of the certificate match what IQService is expecting, and all of those things? So we're just going to do all of that check, and then we'll return a value of, is it self-signed, and does it meet IQService requirements? The other function that we have built out here is a little more basic. We're just going to call new self-signed certificate, and then again, all of those requirements we just outlined. Does the CN for the subject match the host name of the box? Do we have server and client authentication? Do we have the right usage details? All of those things. We're just going to build a self-signed certificate to meet all of those requirements, assuming that we don't have any certificate authorities. So we're going to build all of that out. We'll store it in the local machine store. And then we also need to take that and put it in the trusted root CAs. So we're going to do that for you here too. So that means this script does require admin rights, but we are running that up front. So if we jump back up to the top here for just a quick second, the very first thing that we're calling is requires run as administrator. So if you run it as a regular PowerShell user, it's going to flag you right away. Hey, you need to run this as administrator. So it'll give you that reminder up front instead of getting halfway through and then bombing out and needing to have to restart it from the beginning. So from there, those are our two functions. So what we're going to do is we're going to check the personal store. We're going to look for a certificate where the common name matches the host name of that Windows box that we're working on. And then we're just going to test it. Does this match our requirements? Yes or no? If we don't find one and we don't have any CAs, then we're just going to say there was no certificates, there's no CAs. Do you want to make one? Yes or no? If we do have CAs, but we don't have a certificate, it'll pop up on your screen all of the requirements that you need. So you can go do a CSR and get your certificate authorities to issue you a cert based on what IQService is expecting. And if we actually find a certificate, we'll test it. So I will run it through that test certificate function that we built out, and it'll tell us, if it's self-signed, then it'll offer to upload it to the VA. If it's not self-signed and it was signed by the certificate authorities, then cool, we're good to go. All right, from here, we'll take the self-signed cert. If we have one, we're going to dump it out. We're going to put it in that certificates directory. And then finally, we're going to take everything that is a PEM file inside of that certificates directory, whether it's self-signed or it's one of your enterprise CAs. We're going to take that and we're just going to upload it to all of the VAs in that cluster. So we're just going to nest a couple for eaches in here. So we're going to say for each certificate, upload that file to everything in this cluster. And the cool thing is up above, we already define what those credentials are. So it can just call that credential object that's stored temporarily in your script. so that way we can just do it automatically, and it's not going to prompt you every single time for that VA password. So that's the last thing we're going to do is if that source was successfully connected, then it'll just throw up a green light. If it doesn't, then we'll throw up the error details, and then we can go from there and help you triage. So let's go ahead and give this thing a run. All right, let's throw our terminal a little bit bigger here. All right, so let's go ahead and run our script. All right, so you can see it grabbed my first VA already. So we're going to grab that password here, and we're just going to copy and paste that guy right into the terminal. And then we have VA number 2, again, local IP address. We'll just right click, paste that guy in one more time. And there we go. We're going to build out our folder path. We're running our install. And look at that. It's already bouncing the service. This is pretty quick. There we go. So it's bouncing IQService right now. And now we're making that API call back out to AD. It says, hey, Windows Firewall is enabled. Do you want to, that rule, yes or no? We'll say yes. So we're going to build out that rule. And then there we go. So we're querying AD for certificate authorities, and bam, IQService was successfully connected. And then if we go back, let's take a look at our AD source, which, as you can see in ISC, currently is completely blank. There's nothing here. So let's refresh our web page real quick. And we'll go back to our IQService settings. And there we go. There's our host name. There's our port number, all of that we just defined in the script. And just as a sanity check, test connection. And there we go. We got green lights. So that means we have IQService, we have TLS. You are good to go. Let's go provision some accounts. All right. So that is fast tracking AD provisioning in Identity Security Cloud. Thank you guys for coming. If you have any questions, come find me in the developer community. Come find me on the SASP team. I help run our Ask an Architect sessions. So I will definitely be around either through my team or through the developer community. I'm always happy to help answer any questions you guys have. Thanks for coming.